Yeah.
It's hard to break out a broadcaster.
Yeah. I said broadcaster. I was, old school. Yeah.
Brandon, can you hear us?
I interchange them all so much.
Yes, I can.
Okay, so starting with technical difficulty, going back to the public, does anybody want to make a statement or
Yeah,
anything?
me too.
No, okay.
What's that?
So call a paper and epitaph.
My supervisor made kind of a compressed presentation about the comprehensive planning process, like sort of the basics of it. And then we just sort of took comments. And there was, I think, 8 to 10 people that I haven't written down, but I think there
Well,
was
so the first session was people that go to everything.
Right.
In the second session, there was 2 or 3 extra,
Township folks.
but everybody talked. I mean, it was kind of nice.
Very good.
And then I wasn't here for the third one, so I don't.
Village Lafarge was there.
So there was one county board supervisor there at night, and then one reporter.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah, one supervisor, one reporter, and one township representative.
Okay. Well, not the attendance we were hoping for, but we got to try.
We were also told we are the most open of any comprehensive plan. I was surprised by that.
Yeah.
the most open.
The number of outreach.
Outreach
Oh, yeah.
sessions, yeah.
Well, and having it online,
sure, right.
people can observe all the time.
Right. I guess I was kind of amazed by that
I
people
was
are
too.
been following this all along, and
Right.
so that's good.
Yeah.
Okay, if there's nothing else, then moving on to number 6, review final comprehensive plan.
Let's start page 1. Just kidding. Do you, if I can just make a suggestion, maybe we want to have a list of the edits and then approve it here so we can approve it and move it on to the county board and with those edits. Does that sound like an idea?
That's good.
Okay.
Is our next meeting going to be before the,
Public.
public input session or public,
Public hearing.
public hearing, sorry. Yes.
Public hearing.
Is
And
it
that will
going to
be,
be before?
public hearing will be in January, right?
Yes.
Yeah, that's the assignment. We'll have it toward the end of January. I don't know what the purpose of having another plan commission meeting would be before that, because basically once you approve this meeting to move it forward, that final document is what we're doing the public hearing on. And so, when we put the notice out,
But
we have to have copies.
we're discussing edits right now.
Yep.
So we're
So
not
you
going
could
to
just-
approve it without
You
the
could give me
final edits.
a packet of approved edits today, and I can make those edits, and then we
do
can
that all the time.
move that on.
An issue with that. I mean, unless you have a comprehensive list of things that need to be changed, I don't see an issue with that.
I do have one addition that I've come up with. Under the regenerative agriculture section.
Hopefully page 122. Yeah.
So I, for context, I teach regenerative ag and soil fertility course at Western. And this topic came up in conservation education where another supervisor just asked, what do you even mean by that? And I always fall back on the concept of the 5 principles of soil health. So I guess I would like to formally make a motion to add after the first paragraph under regenerative agriculture, the addition of a sentence that just says right at the end of that, producers who practice regenerative agriculture often observe the 5 principles of soil health, and then listing them out. Limit disturbance. This includes chemical, herbicide, fungicide, pesticides, and physical and mechanical disturbance, tillage. Those are in parentheses. Second point, armor the soil surface, maintain armor or crop residue on the soil surface. Point 3, build diversity, promote diversity in crop and plant species on every front possible. Point 4, keep living roots in the soil, maintain living roots and plants in the soil as long as possible throughout the year. And point 5, integrate animals, keep animals present in the agricultural landscape and community. So not removing any language, just that addition. totally respect if this late in the game, nobody wants to start adding language, but I feel like this is a pretty core point of the regenerative agriculture practice and movement, and it's worth the addition.
I'll second that.
Okay, have a second. Any discussion?
Like it.
Okay, all in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay? Motion carries. Now, was there other, Cassie, you were saying you wanted some other stuff added too? Was there some about staff or something?
Just a staff page.
Okay, well, just so we have that on record then.
Yeah, just a couple things again. Okay, so
No, you're done.
we go back to the
Your last chance.
Westby Bike Trail, and Charlie reminded me, bike has been removed, so I mentioned that to Jack, but everybody has.
So what page are you on?
What page?
Facility.
33, I think. This copy doesn't have page number, the thing, anything that, the most recent one. There's the built environment, there's a picture.
Yeah, page 33.
Okay, so we just want to remove bike from the caption under the picture because it's actually just.
Okay.
And then,
Okay, anybody have any objection to that?
You want that in a motion, or should you put all the things?
We'll just do one motion for all the changes. Make it simpler unless we have some objection.
and then on page 115, I was informed that the Cornerstone Christian Academy is closed. Is that correct?
Mm-hmm.
So then that should be removed from the list of schools.
I guess my question is there any talk of reopening?
That I don't. But it,
I mean, we're supposed to review this in a
Right.
couple of years, right? So I guess if they're open.
Okay. So scratch Cornerstone?
So
we're going to remove it.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cornerstone.
And then the last item is page 123. I love the expanded discussion around barn. The only thing is that there's a reference to algae shivers and alga shivers.
yeah, so the ALGA paragraph did come from the Vernon County Historical Society. So
Right.
I'm not sure which one.
Just for our consistency, it seems like we should choose one or the other. And I think that, yeah. So that would be my only request, is that, because otherwise somebody they turn it algae.
In the same paragraph.
Yeah, and it looks like algae, but just.
Does anybody know what?
I have a document. You guys want to keep talking? I have something in my office. But...
Okay. Because I always remember being referred to as algae. I didn't, with IE, not the pond. So, but yeah, from the historical sign on the back, it says alga. So,
Page 124 refers to alga.
yes.
Thomas Shivers. Yeah, in the middle paragraph there, it says Thomas Shivers' son, ALGA Shivers.
So either they're two different people, or if they're the same, we could use the same name.
That would be my guess.
Algae is all I ever known him by.
Right.
Yeah.
That's why.
Who's Thomas then? Thomas Shivers.
That's his father.
Father's son. That's him.
Maybe that was his.
Thomas.
Yeah, from the tour.
Thomas Shivers.
Algae, yeah, ALGIE.
Mm-hmm.
So we should change it on page 124 then?
Correct.
Yep.
Thomas, okay, yeah. Thomas Shivers' son, Alja Shivers. So they do note it, two different spellings in the
Right.
same document. Yeah.
Maybe there's somewhere else.
Does it,
This was his father
see,
then.
does it identify this barn? Because then we could even add which barn. it is.
Brothers with two different names with just a different spelling. I'm just thinking out there.
Look at
Don't give their last name.
Right.
He built so many of them. though.
Well, there's a historian there.
Are they all?
A
lot of them are good.
Yeah.
They cost
Oh,
much to
good check on them, yeah.
You know, the women's club, they just.
So Lawrence is mentioning that he could check on the deeds and see what the recorded name is and
Okay.
defer to that.
Okay.
Either that or put it in parens, algae.
Right,
Yeah,
right,
you
just
could put-
something, because,
You're on
you know,
the
you
field.
look and you think that it's a typo.
You can just be real quick too.
Parens, alga, if that was his, and
Right.
algae is the one that everybody.
Right, but again, just to address it in some way.
Yeah.
Because I find.
Well,
Right.
I guess my concern is we're assuming that it's the same person.
Yeah, we are.
But we don't know that.
That's what we want to verify.
It is history, though, it says in that Cheyenne
The
Valley.
Historical Society might be able to answer that as well, since they're the ones that put together that document.
Well, they're the one that provided this paragraph.
Cut and pasted from the Vernon.
Yeah, there's a reference. It cites Vernon County.
With that
Historical Society.
Mhm.
Stellars, it's in Hillsborough.
And
I would
that's
know.
who put together that
We
map
will
that
definitely know.
Cassie has. So that's why it's both in there as well.
Millionaire lethargic, trying to think of his name, and wrote a book on the round barn. He and his wife wrote it. So
Maybe even
he's a
say
historian. He might know.
commonly referred to as algae.
Yeah. And
Well, but again, we're assuming it's the same person again.
Yeah.
it is.
I don't-
So we just agree that we need to clarify whether it's if it's the same person, use the same name. And that's if we should be able to confirm that in a few days, one way or the other, and leave Jack then to correct that. However, it needs correcting. Is that something
Barb's doing it.
acceptable to everybody?
Is this sort of the Historical Society open 123 home business hours? Okay. Oh, I can check on that.
Otherwise Cheyenne
Say the way
Valley.
it's worded, it's the same
Yeah.
person, but
Cheyenne Valley,
Yeah,
You don't
but
know.
it doesn't.
Okay.
they're out of Valley. They'll help you.
Barb Stanek is the main
All we know is his grandson.
person for that, I believe.
Yeah, they won't have regular hours.
No.
so George's motion, we'll just, who's going to confirm that? You're going to check with them? Okay. Okay. Anything else, Sandy?
No, that's it. Thank you.
Jack, Lawrence said that he would look into the deeds as well. Are you
Okay.
interested in working with him on that then?
Sure.
Okay.
I think I have your. Can I have your phone number?
637-5377.
637-5377.
Minutes now.
So anybody online, that's ready?
He actually has his,
Concerns about this.
he actually has a cell phone number on the website too.
Oh, boy.
Okay, so a motion to approve or add Sandy's requests.
And Nathaniel's.
Oh, they're all going in one.
Right, they were
Yeah.
all, weren't we all doing it in one?
Well, we already did, yeah.
Well, yours.
It's all going in
For yours.
So yours are
Kathy.
separate. I would make that motion.
Okay,
Okay.
Daniel first,
That's right, we did.
I'll second it.
George second. All in favor, say aye. Opposed, nay. Motion carries. Anyone else?
I want to bring just to your attention, I did add a couple like top 8 lists into here from the last version. Top 8 reasons to not build on steep slopes.
Oh, yes, I
Top
got
8
that,
reasons to, what was the other one?
Reserve farmland.
We've got the reserve farmland on one.
So those are in there. They're nothing surprising.
Can you tell us where they're in here?
Yep, I could look in the table of contents. They go up in there.
How can you tell me?
122.
122 is the reserve farmland in Vernon County.
Mm-hmm. Same there for Virginia.
Yeah, there you go.
121.
The number.
Oh, okay. There you go.
Okay,
Document you would refer.
Okay.
okay.
What I thought was-
2, 3, 4, 5, 6,
Okay, the numbers are.
For what?
Who knew?
Because you had no on 121.
None.
Oh, yeah.
So just start 9 with 1.
Oh, the numbering.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Yeah.
8 reasons.
So what was the other one, 122, and what was the other one?
And the other one was
Steep slopes, you said.
steep slopes. So that's in land use. Yeah, 45. Oh, no, there's top 8 reasons to facilitate development adjacent to existing development. That's what it's just.
Page.
Page 45.
My, sorry, yeah, under top 8 reasons to preserve farmland, it says 9 through 16.
Yep.
Yeah, he's gonna renumber it.
He's gonna renumber that.
That's, yeah. They kind of got mixed.
And then, yeah.
Where is the,
Page 22. So 122 and page, oh, excuse me, 45.
Page 22.
No, 45.
22, okay.
The two pages.
And is there on the page 45 one, is that a source document or is that just a general knowledge
That's
thing?
just kind of, there. Did I put sources behind that one?
no,
I didn't.
No.
nope, you should have that.
Okay.
It's probably one of contention. Potential. And I don't know how you have to move your computer, but you might want to put reasons 1 and 2 and then put 3 on the next page so they know.
Yeah,
what
so
you're
they're
doing,
all-
8 on the next page. So it's not,
Well, I thought, back on page 44, plan Vernon County future land use, I thought there was supposed to be some of that purple, which is planned growth around Viola, but I don't see it. I see it around Reedstown.
It's
Hard.
on the, it's way on the, it's like a back on the southwest.
yeah.
Oh, yeah. If you look real close, it's there.
I
That's
see.
primarily because most of it is in the city limits, so we didn't go into the city limits, so.
I see.
And there's a lot of floodplain around that. There wasn't much there to develop. But it's developable. If you head more to the southeast, there is more.
There's a
but
blown up version of it.
Okay. Is there a blown up version?
The blown up version is
On the way
Yeah,
down?
there's a blown up version of all
Are
of
they
them.
all in here?
Yeah, at the end. Yep.
That's, and.
Yeah.
47, you can see it a little bit better. It's blown up a little bit more. It's
You got fine in there as well.
It is there.
They're like 147. Did you say, Matt, one page?
Right,
Well-
36.
236.
It is just a very.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
looking at the flood zones, which
Yeah.
take up a lot of that area too. That's,
Oh, what page is that?
69.
169. That's an important. Oh, that's nice that you have the blow ups of all the flood zone. Oh, that's really nice.
Our intern added that.
That is slick.
Yeah.
So this is what he was
Those are-
referring to,
those
is
are-
a lot of the area.
Those are really
Flood
flood
zones.
zones.
Page.
169. And then they do have them for, like a frontage
Do you have any other,
as well.
this is your time to ask me questions about, what is this or why is that in here? Anything to wrap up?
Well, I think you all know my concern about this whole thing in terms of discouraging housing in rural areas, barriers in the way of that. I think this is a good plan. I think there's a lot in it. Very good. We've got the poison pill in here. I think it's fortunate that we're going to do that. So I will have to oppose adoption of comprehensive plan based on that.
I'm sorry you do.
I think there's a lot in there, but I'm not in a support of that poison pill in it.
That's your choice.
I realize that.
I don't see it as discouraging people from building. I see it as giving them the option and knowing what are the costs of building versus being closer to infrastructure. I just have a completely different viewpoint than
You
you.
can't make a choice. You have to get permission to build in mostly, not all, but for the most part, to build a residence now, you have to buy the land, you have to pay attention to any setbacks and so forth. But if you want to put a house on that lot, assuming you got enough room for a septic and a well, you can do it.
Right.
Once we adopt this and assuming the county follows through with implementing this comprehensive plan and adopts the zoning plan that's in here, the statewide, the state produced plan, not a local county produced plan, then you will not be able to build in a lot of places because it'll be prohibited because it's in the rural areas. It's not in these areas where we have. But I mean, you're going to have to get permission from you may not even be able to build it, but either that or you're going to have to go through lengthy processes and get votes by town boards or county boards to build in most of the rural area.
Well, right now you have to get site permits before you can build.
A site permit, no, I don't know sure what you're saying about that. Most site permits are merely information permits. In town, in our town, you pay $5, you tell us you're going to build. That's all you have to do. Of course, have to pay attention to building codes, but building codes don't tell you where you can build. They only tell you how you can build.
Disagree.
How does it prohibit?
Yeah,
It doesn't have teeth.
Yeah, how does it prohibit?
Well, he's saying based on what he thinks will happen with the zoning part of it.
Future.
Slippery
and-
slope, like, essentially. If we go down this path, it's going to end up going to something terrible.
If you adopt what's so-called farmland preservation, there are significant restrictions on building in rural areas.
There's restrictions, but there's not prohibitions.
Well, a restriction is a barrier. It slows down, it prevents, it tends to stop that type of building. Yeah, there's a lot of restrictions on
Planning
building.
ahead as a landowner, you're planning ahead. You're not.
No. You take the landowner planning ahead out of this. This is the county planning what you can do with your land.
As a landowner, I'm going to plan ahead where I'm going to put my house, where I'm going to put everything. I'm not just going to rush forward and get a site permit and slam a house in. I mean, you're planning
Right.
ahead.
So that should be left to the landowner, not to the county, to impose a structure over the whole thing saying, oh, no, not there, not unless you come to us and get some permission, or we'll have to amend the ordinance to take that out of farmland preservation, or, of course, we'll have to take it to the county board for a vote. Those are the sort of things that are going to happen.
It's a month
in
to
this
2 month
document?
process generally.
Oh, bullshit. Sorry.
Is this in this document that you're reading all of this?
Farmland preservation is in this document, endorsing the
it's
adoption of farmland
recommended, but it's not
preservation.
in there. So what?
It's not
There's a
been
lot of
adopted.
details that will be ironed out by this.
Well,
one, and,
but the other part of it too is the township doesn't have to opt in.
No, but if the township wants zoning, it's a very complex thing. It took us 2 or 3 years to write a zoning ordinance. I mean, it's not an easy thing. And as Matt has pointed out, some towns would like to have zoning, but they're just not willing to tackle that problem. So what are they going to do? Potentially adopt, the county zoning is the only option that they've got other
But
than
this
writing their
still
own and
does not
hiring.
have farmland preservation.
Pardon?
It still does not have farmland preservation in this document.
It's a recommendation. It's a recommendation.
Well, yeah,
Not in the document.
recommending it, that's the first step.
But it's important to remember that this is developed based off of a number of outreach sessions in which there was expressed interest in for this to have that. This is a reflection of what the community has asked, not just merely the folks at the table, their interest. And I think it's important to remember that the community has put this forward and made the request.
Well,
I
the other,
don't think the community requested what you guys have written in here. I think this was written mostly by an out of county source.
but
And
Matt,
and it's an implementation, pardon me, I have the floor. It's an implementation of their plan, which they have a plan. The Regional Planning Commission has a plan for this region. And now they're implementing it in our plan. This is their plan, not our plan, in my view. I appreciate all the work, and it's a lot of individualization and a lot of good stuff like the one we went through this morning. There's a lot of good stuff in here. And like I say, I would support it wholeheartedly, except for that. I just think that's going down the wrong path. Oh, yes, we're only recommending it. But then the county board says, well, the planning commission said, with all this input, that we should do this. So they'll, it just starts building that towards that. And then we end up with a plan commission, a plan department, which has tremendous authority over the whole county as to who's going to build where.
But Matt, didn't a lot of this start with townships approaching you saying we would like help in doing this?
Yeah.
So my concern is, I mean, as a township, then don't opt in. But by not doing it, we're penalizing those who do want to join in. That's my concern. Go ahead, Matt.
So, several points. I disagree that we're going to form a planning department. We don't have the resources.
Zoning department.
We already have that.
Exactly. We're all ready to go.
Okay. All right. Whatever. Anyways, agree to disagree on a lot of this stuff aren't we putting this together, one, for grants?
Yeah, it opens the doors for like.
And we've talked about this quite a bit. If you have a developer come in and say, okay, where do we have resources? Where am I gonna? So that's what it's encouraging. Cities and villages, that's where a lot of this planned growth is around. You have a developer come in, you want to get a grant to help facilitate building in that area, making it cheaper for the residents.
A lot of those building expand growth there along the river are in really sensitive areas. I guess I think that landowners should have the same freedom to build in the rural areas without having to be forced into an urban environment.
Weren't these parsed out because they're not in the floodplain, not steep slopes, So they're devout of those areas. So that's, I disagree with that also.
Look at the map of this.
Yeah, I'm looking at these
Village,
maps.
Ontario, and it's right along the river there as part of the planned growth. What I read, could be wrong, but I don't even know which page it's on.
You're building up on the
238.
Out here, so
Isn't the purple right along the river bend there?
No, the blue.
Yeah, isn't that right? Right along the river bend to the lower right there. Isn't that right along the river?
So
Not in the floodplain.
yeah, not in the floodplain, and we could take those areas out if we don't want those in.
Well, that's the opposite direction I want to go.
I just want to be clear that your arguments about farmland preservation, I'm the one that pushed for that as an ag teacher who represents the township he grew up in. I'm the one that pushed for that. That wasn't Jack. That wasn't Mississippi River Planning Commission. That was me as somebody who spends a lot of time professionally at the dinner tables of farmers in the area. But just to be clear, that's not Mississippi River Planning Commission pushing that. That's coming from us locally.
Oh, I disagree. I appreciate, yes, you brought it up, but they've certainly been pushing it all along. They've stuck things in here, little lists of why this is good and why this is good. They've lobbied and promoted this all along. You've been a vehicle for that? Yes, I agree. But you have an urban towns up there, 1, 2, and I'm all for preserving farmland. I'm not. And what has been the nature of rural Vernon County in particular, but in Wisconsin, it's been the integration of homes, agriculture, small businesses, people making a living in the rural areas. This is a whole new type of regime. That is, we're going to preserve the rural areas. We're going to discourage the housing, make that go into the urban, so-called urban areas, maybe even villages. And what are we doing that for? So we can have vast, which is difficult in Vernon County, vast areas of farmland, so we can have more CAFOs. That's what this is heading towards, to keep people out of the rural areas so we can industrialize it and grow crops in there without it being like we grew up. Now, maybe I'm just looking back towards the past, but I think we're sanitizing, we're changing the nature of rural Vernon County and of rural Wisconsin through this. And I just think I'm all for preserving farmland, but there's lots of rural areas that we can build in that are not farmland. Yes, sometimes people build on farmland. There's a lot of foolish people who do lots of things, but it's their land. And I think that to some degree, we ought to let them do that.
But you do realize, George, we're the only county that does not have a comprehensive plan.
I don't think that's true. I think there's 2 others.
No,
Comp
comp plan, we're the only,
Zoning, yeah,
Correct.
Milwaukee and Ozaki,
because
which
they defer to the
they're
city.
all rural, or they're all urban. They're all urban.
There is one on file that they defer to at the city
I'm
level.
not opposed to comprehensive plans. I'm opposed to this being in this comprehensive plan.
Well, I don't think we're going to change your mind, George.
No,
Well, I know that from the last meeting.
I don't think so.
I'm not trying to change your mind, actually. I'm trying to explain where I'm coming from and why I'm going to oppose this.
Yeah, and I think we've
All
had
right,
this
thank you.
conversation probably a dozen times. And
Right.
I respect your stance on it, but I think continuing to beat this dead horse is probably not going to get us going.
Well,
I don't think they're dead horse. I think it's a very important subject, and I think that the more we talk about it, the better we are. We, of all these, we just had a lot of meetings, but boy, there's a lot of documents, of verbiage for, what, 6 months? How long we've been at this? 6 months? 8 months?
It is last February we started, so almost a year. Just for the year.
10 months?
The ball.
February 8th, I think was our
10 months. 10 months.
Yeah.
10 months. There's the 200-page plan.
we're still on the review of the comprehensive
Yeah.
plan. I guess I'm gonna fall back on the same thing. We were approached by other townships to do it.
Yeah.
My take is if your local township or municipality doesn't want to opt in, don't opt in. You're not held to any of it then. But we're penalizing those who want it if we don't proceed.
And
that
we're
was-
penalizing the county overall in grant application.
Right, because the last meeting I was at in La Crosse, same thing. That was built right into one of the grants. You have to have a comprehensive plan. And it's more and more of them are going to require it. So,
Otherwise, it just,
and
and Vernon County certainly depends on grants. Oh, my goodness.
and we can look at the wording on different things. I mean, there's different options for farmland preservation. There's different, going to the worst end of everything doesn't help either. I mean, there's other options and we can change the wording on different things. I mean, that's our plan.
We
And I
don't,
will just say, go ahead. Okay, sorry.
yeah, but we don't have to do anything beyond this.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah, so that's past county board. I
Mhm.
mean, it's not like we have any control.
This will be the source for a lot of grant writing too. You can cut and paste a lot of things right out of here, put them in a DOT document, and
Right.
those will help your application.
And review the housing at least every 5 years just to stay ahead of it. And I would say 4, just so we don't get behind the curve, but
Economic development has to.
it works.
to-
So any other additions or corrections recommended for the plan at this point?
Did we vote on these?
Yes.
Okay, then I guess with the changes that have been presented today, looking for a motion to make this our final draft. Okay, Nathaniel's first,
I'll second.
Sandy second, all in favor?
Call vote, please.
Okay,
Certainly?
Yeah.
Yes.
okay, George,
No.
okay. Sandy?
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. And yes.
Now you can put the names in. Motion adopted.
Motion is adopted. So number 7, discussion on public notice.
So, 30-day class 1 notice. Previous to the first meeting, I did share some of the language, for a notice that we used in the past. So, I think it's,
Where would you give this?
the deadline was the 11th of January to get that posted.
I'm sorry, you said you provided us with some language. Where is that?
I provided staff, the county who has to make the
Post notice.
So that'll have to go in December for January meeting. Right.
Recommendation based on the deadline and would be that we will ask in January.
And is that going to be just a standalone? Okay.
And this is a planning commission hearing, correct?
Right. So it's a public hearing notice.
Is this going to be then similar? So this is essentially our last listening session. So it's going to be similar to how we've done it.
Yep.
Open discussion.
No, wait a minute. It's a public hearing or is it a so-called presentation listening session?
If the public hearing preceded by a class 1 notice.
You have to
be issued.
You have to hear people out, not just go meet individually and so forth. You open it up and they make comments.
And and the comments are recorded.
Is this an online option as well, or just?
And then do we need to meet again to see if we want to make changes based on that feedback?
I would just send.
Or just afterwards?
Changes you want made.
Or just talk
And
afterwards?
then they can, I don't want to speak.
Yeah, we'll post it, so we'll have it as a public hearing, and then you'll already be being, if there are major changes that you want to make, you can
Mhm.
post to the county board, or if you want to pause, if for some reason something comes up we hadn't
Right.
considered, we want a whole separate meeting.
I just want to make sure we have enough members to be there that we can make those changes if
So this is going to be a
necessary.
meeting as well as a public
not a-
hearing.
I guess I would say it would be have a public hearing and then have a meeting afterwards just to finalize. Does that make sense?
Yeah, we'll just, we'll have a public hearing, and then we can have an action item, before the county board.
So do we need to pick a date then, I'm guessing?
Never have a calendar.
I have mine out.
And then what's,
We'll have.
Yeah, my calendar is really-
28th.
I'll chat with them.
The 21st, we've been last Tuesday of the month.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, yeah.
and when do you think the notice will go out? Because I'm just looking for the 30-day part of it.
Would it be in the afternoon on the 28th? Great. It would be great to have it in the afternoon on the 28th.
Are you going to have online? I'm planning not to be in the state.
Oh,
This week it needs to go.
All right.
you're going again?
Well,
No,
It would be silly to me to
We'll
to
make
have
that
teams to facilitate everything else up until now,
Right.
for the public hearing, so we'll.
thank you.
Well,
Okay.
or could we do the 23rd or 24th? Would that work for you? Be here?
Yeah, that would work for me. I'd be in.
Would that do that too quick?
Jerry sent me the email.
I was in.
Lawrence, you and I will be at the surveyors conference.
Wrapped up by 5.
We'll be at the surveyors conference.
Oh,
Yes. That last.
Okay. It's all right. I can be online.
What day are we thinking? I'm sorry, I was sidetracked here.
Well, Kathy's just checking the schedule.
Okay.
And we can't do it on Tuesday.
We can in the
I have a
afternoon.
Hearing in the afternoon at 1 o'clock.
Oh, then you're out.
Started at
On the 28th.
on the
Well,
20th.
McKay's is going to be gone. So I was asking about the 23rd or 24th.
and other people are gone.
I don't see it on the county calendar, but my calendar says 5 o'clock housing task force, as long as we're done by then.
For what day? The 28th?
This 23rd.
23rd.
Okay.
If we did the
Yeah, I
24th,
could do
I don't have
that.
anything, and I don't. Doesn't look like the county calendar calculated out in January.
Hey, are you gone on the 30th as well then?
Yeah, I am the whole week. That's nobody's problem. It's just me.
What happened to be that last week?
Okay.
Okay.
Or deadline?
Yeah, the 30th is fine. I mean, if I'm gonna go online,
No.
it won't make a difference.
I guess I might be out of town.
Okay.
I haven't finalized it, but. we're heading there
29,
At some
what's
point.
29?
Would the 29th work?
You busy?
What
No,
time are
I
you thinking?
got the whole week
Wow.
free so
Wow.
far.
Wait, what was
You're
that?
filling it.
Wednesday, the 29th?
Well, what time? Morning or afternoon? Afternoon might be better, maybe. 1:30 in the afternoon.
For sure not before 9:30, because that's a weather time.
True.
You know, for the
January.
roads.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you're right.
Mhm.
1 o'clock?
Sure.
I hate halves because
Okay.
people
1
miss,
o'clock.
people miss, don't read the whole thing and,
Right.
okay.
At 1 o'clock.
So
Wednesday, January 29th,
So it's real,
and that was consensus.
That's fine.
at least on this article.
anybody have an issue with that?
No, that's good.
Is the Lunar New Year.
Well, that'll change everything.
Or whatever that's.
The snake.
Oh, yeah, is it, what is it, this year?
Chinese New Year's, the snake.
Oh, that's my
Yeah.
number. I got a good
one.
Okay, so 1 o'clock, 29th. Okay, any other discussion on the public notice? Number 8, review ordinance samples for county board adoption.
I provided the ordinance, and do we have an attachment or?
I didn't get anything.
It's in the,
And the,
Oh, yeah. It's at the end of the document.
Page number? That's section anyway, yeah.
look for this, look for the COVID.
okay, got it. Got that. Page before. Yep. So it'd be page 247,
That's like page 2.
246, actually.
This says acknowledgement.
246. Right.
46.
Yeah, 246.
Oh, here we go.
Oh, it's right before that.
Before that.
I got her down.
So that's just a sample. You insert your single town names.
What?
Boilerplate language.
246.
246.
246.
There's no numbers on it.
Oh, okay. So we're gonna look at
We'll
the
go
page
It, and it's like,
Appendix J.
Before that, yeah, it's before the.
right here.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
Yep, 246. Yeah, I guess the pages after that don't, these don't have numbers.
I get it. Yeah.
Maybe they should
I
add.
don't know, all these new ones.
That's a PDF.
So, yeah,
That was cut into it, so.
yeah, it didn't have the.
These do have numbers on them.
Oh,
Everything that I printed off has page
oh,
numbers
yeah,
on
it's
it.
got a little number.
It's got a
Yeah,
number
it's
on it.
got
Oh, yeah.
smaller numbers.
You just got nowhere to look.
It's right here. The smaller number.
Oh, it's 16.
Right, so that's page 1 through 16. Yep.
That's only that.
Oh.
Yeah, mhm, exactly.
Not the version.
Got you.
No, it's only,
Here's the.
it's only the addendum, the economic, the COVID has numbered pages, everything else does not.
Exactly, yeah.
Yours doesn't, mine does.
Well, the ones that I printed on Friday have.
So if you notice, the first copy I sent to you, I cut in this PDF document and then I changed the footer on all of the documents to match that MZ burning glass.
Right.
So I went back and changed that.
Okay,
So these new copies
Yes.
should not have that. Matt's doesn't.
so the final edition, well,
Because I couldn't see,
Numbers on
I
there.
was editing it, I couldn't see the footer and then I printed it, I was like, I said, every single.
yeah, because there was one piece that got.
Well, you might work on a little more. Sounds like it needs a little more work.
Is there any questions on this sample ordinance?
No, it's okay.
I'm sure that would get corrected.
Yeah, these
Because
copies
being
do
pretty
have
hard for that.
the correction.
public hearing.
the one that Matt printed today.
Yeah, I gotta comb through it.
So we need a motion to approve that too then? Or is that just the way, it's just
It's
what's
just an
presented?
example. There's nothing specific to your language.
Okay.
That's just something for your staff
Okay.
or to you.
Alrighty, number 9 then, review timeline for upcoming events.
That was the public hearing.
Public hearing
And
on the
board meeting.
29th and then February's county board hearing for a vote.
That would be,
Do you meet the third Thursday?
Mhm.
February 20th?
20th.
February
Yeah,
20th?
February 20th, yeah. And John was going to present at this next county board
on
meeting?
the 19th.
Okay.
Yeah. Essentially you'd be doing the same presentation that he did.
Mhm.
Sure.
Well, that'll be good because then it'll have time for everybody on the board to read up on it if they haven't yet.
So what's the date on the county board meeting?
February 20th.
Brief one. What time?
9:30.
9:30. Okay, Ken, any announcements? Hearing none, agenda items for next meeting. So again, the next meeting will be the 29th then for the public hearing, and then we'll meet directly after for any changes if necessary.
Sounds good.
Anybody have anything else they want to talk about at the next one? If you do, let me or Morgan know then, or Matt, or whoever you want. Okay, so next meeting date won't be January 20th, it'll be the 29th. And motion to adjourn.
Motion?
Nathaniel? Okay, all in favor, aye. Aye. Opposed, nay.
Shortest, yeah.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. Unbelievable.